whose standards are just a little too high?
Yeah, nothing better than getting to know a person for a full year before you have sex with them. Well, good luck with that, huh?
ABC's The Norm Show. After the Drew Carey Show, see you tonight.
Newswatch 16 cares what you think. Call Talkback 16 24 hours a day. Now, live from the news station, Newswatch 16.
Good morning, I'm Tom Williams. It's 3 minutes to 8 o'clock. A Luzerne County woman is relieved to know her daughter is safe and sound following those school murders in Colorado. Evelyn Eck lives in Shavertown. Her daughter teaches at Columbine High School, the same place where 15 students and teachers were killed yesterday. Beverly Williams is a 1964 graduate of Dallas High School. Mrs. Eck was watching TV yesterday afternoon when she heard about the tragedy at her daughter's high school.
When they announced that it started in the science department, I thought, she's in the science department. When they mentioned biology, she's the biology teacher. So I waited all day to hear more.
Ex-son-in-law called in the evening to say Beverly was okay. Beverly herself got to a telephone just before 11 o'clock last night. Eck tells us her daughter stayed in a classroom with some students until police said it was safe to leave that school building in Colorado. An accident last night in Susquehanna County killed a man and put a little girl in the hospital. State police say 75-year-old James Karnak of Nicholson was killed when his car flipped over near Hot Bottom. The car landed near a creek. A passenger, 8-year-old Angela Costner of Springfield, was taken to CMC in Scranton with a head injury. An accident in Northumberland County yesterday morning killed a freshman from Shamokin Area High School. This is the car 16-year-old Timothy Kern was driving to school. Police say his car crashed into a tree on a back road outside of Goen City. 2 passengers were thrown from the wreck. Kern's sister, Krista, is critical this morning. A passenger is listed as serious. A Luzerne County restaurant damaged by flames yesterday will be closed today. An electrical fire sent smoke through the Big Boy restaurant on Kidder Street in Wilkes-Barre. Customers and employees got out of that building without being hurt. No word how long the Big Boy in Wilkes-Barre will remain closed. Here's the forecast now.
Why is she so happy? She got a Lennox heating and air conditioning system from Lock Haven Plumbing and Heating. And she knows she got a great deal. Now get 6 months, no payment, no interest, or free 10-year parts and labor, or up to a $400 instant discount. Lennox, one less thing to worry about.
Time for a new kitchen? Come to Mariotti Building Products. Our expert designers can help you get the kitchen you want at the price you want. 20 displays, including famous Merillat cabinets backed by our low price guarantee. The newest Merillat styles are here right now. Nobody knows kitchens like Mariotti. In-store designers with great ideas. Our own countertop shop. Free delivery. We can even install your new Merillat kitchen. Mariotti Building Products. Old Forge. Family owned and operated for over 40 years.
And now, the latest forecast from the Storm Tracker 16 Center. Stay tuned for updates.
Good morning, America. I'm Charles Gibson. This morning in the town of Littleton, Colorado. Everyone now knows Littleton, Colorado, and I am standing about a half mile up the road from Columbine High School. And we're going to be reporting from here all morning long. Diane?
I'm Diane Sawyer in New York. It's Wednesday, April 21st. And Charlie, as dawn breaks there, I wonder, do they still have the school cordoned off? Are they still afraid that there are more explosives around?
Yeah, the reason we are a half mile from the school, as the sheriff of Jefferson County told us in our first hour, is that they are concerned about what he said ordnance, but he meant bombs. These 2 students, the 2 students that now everyone believes were responsible for this, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, they came in with bombs yesterday. A number of them were exploded, and there have been bombs discovered now all around the school, unexploded bombs. Indeed, even one of these students' cars was wired with a bomb, and there was, about 11 o'clock last night, an explosion of an unfound bomb. It just went off in the school. Police hadn't found it yet, and so they're very worried about that situation. As a result, all of the bodies are still inside the school. The number of dead now known to be 15, maybe 16. 12 bodies were found in the library of the school. Teachers, students, and the 2 young men who were responsible for all this, these 2 seniors at Columbine High School. There was 1 body found just outside the library, and there were 2 bodies found outside the school, on the grounds of the school, but there may even be a 3rd body outside the school. If that's the case, there would be a total of 16 dead. Now, we've talked about the fact that these 2 young men who were so deliberate in what they did, so callous in what they did, and so ruthless. We've talked about the fact that they were members of a group called the Trenchcoat Mafia. It's a very small group, a clique, apparently, of students on the campus, about 10 or 12, mostly juniors, seniors. And they wear these black trench coats, adopt what is called a goth or gothic lifestyle. And as one of the students at Columbine was telling me just a few moments ago, they are always appearing mad. You come up and they're right in your face and rather depressed. They talk a lot about, apparently talked a lot in school about killing people. And they were fascinated by Hitler. One of the thoughts is that this occurred on April 20th because that is Hitler's birthday. As we say, the body's still inside the school. They're not going to be removed for some time. The total of those injured, 23 were wounded and 10 critically wounded, a number of them in area hospitals. Antonio Mora is at the Swedish Medical Center nearby here, and he has the latest from there. Antonio?
Charlie, the hospitals are a big part of the story because before they even knew there were victims at the Columbine High School, the hospital sprang into action. Doctors were paged and came to the emergency rooms in this area. Ambulances and helicopters were dispatched to this. There are 7 hospitals in this area that are part of a trauma network, and all this is very, very well rehearsed. And it turned out that there were many more doctors and many more ambulances and medical personnel than were actually needed to treat the amount of injuries that were there, despite the enormous number of injuries that happened at that high school. And 4 of the most serious cases were brought here to the Swedish Medical Center. 4 young boys and girls that had all of them to be operated on. One of them is a young girl, 18 years old, Valerie Schnurr, whom we heard a lot about yesterday. She was the girl who had 9 wounds, shrapnel and bullets. And an amazing story because she was brought here, she was still conscious, and despite having all those wounds, she was asking about her parents and whether her parents had been notified. And she actually has been upgraded. Her condition has been upgraded to fair this morning, so she is doing quite well. The others here, however, are in critical condition. One of them, Sean Graves, was in serious condition at one point last night, but he had to go and be operated again on last night, and as a result of that operation, he is now in critical condition. The other 2 that are here are also in critical condition, and there are a half-dozen others at hospitals throughout the area that are in serious and critical condition. So again, a lot of anxious parents waiting to see what happens with the children that are injured. Diane?
Oh, Antonio, we can only imagine. Thank you. We're going to turn now and try to learn more about the young men who apparently committed the terrible crime and then turned their weapons on themselves. Each new report is more chilling than the last. Here's something just on the wires that a student has said that at one point, one of the gunmen looked under a desk in the library, saw a student, said peekaboo, and then fired on them. Who could these young men be? And what about this group that they were said to belong to? An outcast group known as the Trenchcoat Mafia, a suburban gang of sorts noted for their dark clothing and dark dispositions. But in a comfortable middle-class setting like Littleton, Colorado, where do the young people find the models to form a gang based on anger and violence? They were said to call themselves the Trenchcoat Mafia with a creed of isolation, despair, and death. Fellow students, now eyewitnesses to the gruesome murder scene, say the killers evoked Keanu Reeves in the film The Matrix. There were the clothes. They dressed in long black coats, arms loaded with weapons. But the clothes weren't the only thing. The suburban group of white kids said to describe themselves as loners, evoking the rage of rock star Marilyn Manson. As entertainment, Manson extols alienation, challenges authority. But as critics say, he glorifies suicide and devil worship. And in that strange modern way, an advertisement for themselves on the internet. An alleged Trenchcoat Mafia webpage. It was erased moments after we recorded this. One person's profile confirmed the uniform, black full-length trench coats. Another boasts an arsenal of weapons. And the next page signaled something else we would hear again and again.
They were known as the trench coat mafia at our school, and the jocks, ridiculed them quite a bit. When they first walked in, they said if there's any jocks in here, they're dead.
The site had a hit list for real jocks and a substitute teacher. And when we entered a chat room, cyber chatters already knew of the Littleton, Colorado killings. One person familiar with the trenchcoat mafia said they recalled a previous warning. Quote, "This kid, El Caress, wrote, 'Preparing for April 20th. You're going to be sorry.' Another suggested the significance of the date, Hitler's birthday. And for all of us, incidents like yesterday's in Littleton have become an established part of our culture. Who can forget last March, 2 young boys opened fire at a Jonesboro, Arkansas school, and the killers say they were inspired in part by the video Mortal Kombat. Or October 1997, when 16-year-old Luke Woodham of Pearl River, Mississippi, killed his mother and 2 students in his high school and wounded 7 others. Woodham knew he was an outcast, overweight, a loner. He said often ridiculed at school.
A lot of the kids really persecute you when you do stuff like that, when you want to be different, when you want to be your own person. And, they just don't understand that not everybody has to be alike. If you don't fit in their certain little clique, they persecute you.
According to Woodham, Grant Boyette, one of his only friends, encouraged the violence. Like members of the Trenchcoat Mafia, Luke's interests ran to the dark side. And another movie became a kind of icon for the dark side. The 1995 film Basketball Diaries, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, eerily foreshadowing another school tragedy. In Paducah, Kentucky, 14-year-old Mike Carneal, also a Marilyn Manson fan, killed 3 of his fellow students. Twice this year, a Denver Police Department gang expert visited the Littleton school, reaching out to disenfranchised students, the white, suburban, troubled boys who never accepted his message. On Tuesday, he returned to the scene all too familiar. And in a moment, we're going to talk to some experts about the point at which what looks like just rebellion is truly dangerous. But first, we're going to take a break just for 30 seconds so that our local ABC affiliates can tell you about the weather where you are.
Hey, good morning all. Pleasure to be in your company. Tomorrow is Earth Day. Celebrate the beauty of our planet. For today, mostly cloudy to partly sunny, some scattered late day showers into tonight. Not a bad day, upper 50s to low 60s. Tonight and into tomorrow, like I said, there could be a few thunderstorms around. Otherwise, just kind of cloudy with showers, 64. Friday, 60, mainly cloudy. More showers into the weekend. I am so sorry. You make it a good day. It's up to you.
Well, the tragedy in Littleton is reopening painful wounds in towns across the country. Springfield, Oregon, West Paducah, Kentucky, Jonesboro, Arkansas. Why have school shootings, which were almost unheard of 5 years ago, become so disturbingly common? Dr. Howard Spivak, the chairman of the American Academy of Pediatrics Task Force on Violence, now joins us from Boston. And from Albuquerque, New Mexico, forensic psychologist Dr. Michael Jepson, and we thank you both so much for joining us. Dr. Spivak, I want to turn first to this question of the virtual headlines this group seemed to be sending out about what it was thinking of doing. There's another line from a web page I saw this morning. Apparently one of the group had said, "No pity for the majority. What I don't like, I waste." When do you have to start taking this kind of talk seriously?
Well, when kids begin to develop behaviors, interpersonal behaviors with their peers, isolation, bullying, a whole variety of dysfunctional behaviors, you need to get concerned. And it needs to happen as early as possible, so not when the threats are beginning to fly, but when the behaviors begin to become apparent.
And what about this whole question of a culture of violence being a true cause? The debate seems to go on endlessly. Something like the Basketball Diaries, the video games, Doom, Quake, all of these constantly cited.
I think that's a very serious part of this problem. We glorify guns and the use of guns, and we glamorize the use of violence as a way of solving problems. And we do it on television and in the movies and in all of the role models that we put up in front of young people. And then we seem to get surprised when they act it out and do it themselves.
Dr. Jepson, is it true that even if you didn't have this culture around them, that these kids would find some way to commit violence? What is the interaction?
I think that a lot of the reaction has to do with just being overwhelmed and their coping abilities being limited into what kinds of behaviors are available to them to strike back or to have some sort of conflict resolution.
Would gun control, would the prevention of ordinary access to guns change this, or would they find them somehow anyway?
I think some kids are going to find weapons anyway, but I think the ready access of guns or any kind of weapons of destruction is going to be a big factor in these kinds of events taking place.
Dr. Spivak, what should parents be saying to their own kids about this?
Well, first of all, kids need to talk about this. It's extremely important because they're not going to be able to be protected from this information. I think the second thing is that kids need to be reassured that the adults in their lives, their parents, people at school and in their communities, are looking out for their safety. And I think the third thing is that kids need to begin to better understand and learn how to deal with anger and conflict in a different kind of way, where they see options beyond resorting to violence for solving their problems and for dealing with bad feelings.
Dr. Jepson, we know all the information isn't in on this incident, but if you would, just tell us, as someone who has studied these so carefully, what do you see in this situation so far that strikes you as different, unusual?
I think the fact that that there were warnings ahead of time, that these kids were telling other people that they were having difficulty in getting along with the major group of kids, and that those warnings just weren't enough for them to get the kind of help they needed.
All right, Dr. Jepson, Dr. Spivak, our thanks to both of you for joining us at this early hour. Thank you.
You're welcome.
In a moment, we're going to see how others are trying to prevent the worst from happening at their schools. We're going to see their strategies and whether they work. Coming up.
New on video, the Rugrats movie. If you buy only one movie, make it the biggest holiday hit available on video and the greatest Rugrats adventure in history. The Rugrats movie, now available on video and DVD.
When you've got Schlotzsky's on the brain, there's not much room for anything else.
Finally, a polished brass finish that holds up under siege. New brilliance for the kitchen. From Delta, it's guaranteed to shine for life. Delta, the faucet.
Loved the idea, but it made me nervous.
Well, me too. And I wasn't taking any chances, so I tested it back here first.
You don't have to take chances. Febreze cleans odors out of fabrics safely.
And when it didn't stain my sofa, I went a little crazy with it.
Crazy would be not using Febreze.
Febreze? Found it in the laundry aisle. Thanks.
And it's even safe on this.
So don't hold back. It's a world full of fabric out there. Febreze cleans bad smells out of fabrics for good.
Ow! I feel good. So good. So good.
Senecot laxative tablets work like second nature overnight.
I feel nice.
Year after year, truck after truck, nobody builds quality like GMC Truck. From the full-size Suburban and Yukon to the all-new Sierra, you'll find an incredible combination of power, luxury, and value. Like the rugged new Jimmy, now with financing as low as 1.9% or $1,000 cash back on any four-door Jimmy. 1.9% on a new Jimmy. See the Jimmy and other quality GMC models at your Northeast Pennsylvania GMC dealers today.
Bonner Chevrolet, rated one of the nation's best Chevy dealers. In fact, surveys show Bonner ranked #1 in customer satisfaction with over 68 years of award-winning service. At Bonner Chevrolet, you get the car or truck you want at a price that's nationally competitive. Save now on Chevy Blazers, Malibus, and the hot new Silverado. So whether you plan to lease or buy, come to the dealer Chevrolet considers one of the nation's best. Bonner Chevrolet in Kingston. Car and truck buying like it should be.
We have another student from Columbine High School that we want to talk to in just a moment, and also a mother of a student that is here, because we haven't yet gotten the parents' perspective. It was such a terrifying day for parents not knowing what had happened to their children. So I am joined by Cindy Woodman. We talked to her daughter Crystal in the last half hour, and also I'm joined by Bill Hannafin, who is a student. Bill, we were talking to students who were in the cafeteria, I'm sorry, in the library. We were talking to students who were outside the school, but you were in the cafeteria, I gather, when these two students came in.
Yeah, I was in the cafeteria under a table.
When did you know first that something was wrong?
When the janitors yelled for everyone to get down.
And these two young men had not come into the cafeteria at that point?
They were out in the parking lot.
So the janitor yelled for everybody to get down. You didn't know what was wrong, but I gather everybody started running for the doors.
I didn't know exactly what was wrong, but everyone ducked and they started running for the stairs.
Now, did most students get out of the cafeteria?
Yeah, most of them did.
How many of you were left inside?
I think about 7 of us.
When they came in?
Yeah.
All right, what happened? First of all, you said you were under a table, so you were hiding. What did they do when they came in?
I think they came down the stairs and they started shooting. I don't know at who or what, but they went in and out of areas.
Now, Crystal and Joshua, who were in the library, were saying these two young men were very deliberate. They were picking out people and shooting them, meaning to kill them. Were they shooting directly at any of you 7 that were still in the cafeteria?
No, I don't think they were shooting at us because they're really close to us, and I'm pretty sure they saw us, but they didn't shoot at any of us on the floor.
Were they throwing bombs around?
Yes, they were.
Were they exploding?
Yes.
And were any of the students that were in the cafeteria injured?
I don't believe any of them were.
How long were they in the cafeteria? How long were you under that table?
I was under the table for about 25 minutes.
Did you think, maybe I'm going to die here?
Yeah. I was just hoping that they wouldn't come over and shoot us.
So they never actually came very close to you?
Actually they did. I could hear them talking.
How far away from you?
10, 15 feet.
And what were they saying?
I don't recall.
Didn't hear anything specifically?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Cindy, Crystal said she was in that library for about 45 minutes while the gunmen were in there. First of all, how did you find out this was all going on?
I got a page. I was in Golden, which is about probably 25 minutes from here, and I got a page, a 911 page, and I called my husband back, and he told me that there was a situation at the school and that he was headed that way, and so I, in turn, headed that way.
And did you have any idea if Crystal was in trouble?
I had no idea.
Can you describe what yesterday afternoon was like not knowing?
The longest day of my life.
What'd you do?
Yeah.
What happened?
When I did I went to my house and I decided, I heard from my husband and he was right over here in this area, but he said, don't even try to get in here. The traffic by that time, it was just backed up and
better to stay by the phones.
Yes.
Which I suspect were probably ringing off the hook.
They were. I had 2 lines in my house and they were both non-stop ringing.
People calling to say what? Is she in there?
Is she okay?
Yeah. When did you find out that it was okay?
It was about 45 minutes after I was home. Took about 45 minutes to get word that she was okay.
How did she get word out?
She called her dad. He had his cell phone, and she called him.
She called from a cell phone?
From yes, I think a friend or someone had a cell phone.
It's amazing what technology does. Tell me what it was like, because there's so much trauma after something like this happens. Tell me how she's been. Tell me how the kids have been.
Last night she needed to talk. We were up all night. We haven't slept. And I knew that's what she needed. And I think that was the best thing for her. She just had to keep talking about it over and over and over again. And well, we did fall asleep for a little bit. She slept in my arms, but I think just talking about it would be the best thing for her.
Has she said it's going to be hard to come back to school?
She said, I can't, Mom, I can't go back. And so we talked about that a lot. And then she realized, no, I do need to come back, and I need to be with my friends, and
They
face
need to comfort
it.
each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bill, this group, the Trenchcoat Mafia, I gather a very small group. Do you know much about them?
I've heard of them. I never really met them or anything, or confronted them.
Did kids in school take them seriously? Or were they just a sort of group of
I didn't take them
weirdos?
seriously. I just thought they were a big group of weirdos. I didn't think they would do anything.
So they may have talked tough, but you didn't obviously ever expect anything like this.
No, I didn't expect anything.
All right, Bill, Cindy, thanks very much. You take care of her, and you're okay too, okay? Yeah, all right. Good to talk to both of you, thanks. Local news coming up next. Good Morning America continues.
1010-220 lets you call all over the world at amazing low rates. Dial 1010-220 and all calls within the U.S. and to Canada are only 99 cents for up to 20 minutes. Call most of Europe and it's only $1.99 for all calls up to 10 minutes and just 19 cents for each additional minute. Call Mexico and it's just $2.99 for all calls up to 10 minutes and only 34 cents for each minute after that. With 1010-220, you save all day, every day. Dial 1010-220 for great savings all over the world.
She was coming home to the jungle and to their wild, untamed love for butter, cut down by cholesterol. Until...
Darling, look what I've brought back.
I can't believe it's not butter.
It's the premier spread flavored with real sweet cream buttermilk for a fresh butter taste, but without the cholesterol.
How civilized.
I can't believe it's not butter. The taste you love without the cholesterol.
Announcing Buick's lowest finance rate. 0.0% APR financing. 0% financing on the real power, comfort, and style of any new 99 Buick. 0.0% financing, or choose up to $2,000 cash allowances on select models. Plus, right now, we're giving away up to 45 cars in 45 days in the most exciting promotion in Buick history. Simply click on win.buick.com or hurry into your local Buick dealer today. These programs end May 1st.
Man, that chili was hot.
You got heartburn too?
Yeah.
Want to try these new Pepsi AC chewables?
It says you gotta take it with water. What's the water for? With Tums, you don't need water.
Just because new Pepsid is chewable doesn't mean it works like Tums. Tums calcium neutralizes acid fast. Pepsid Chewables famotidine has to go through your bloodstream, so it takes 40 minutes just to start controlling acid.
You want to go back for water?
Forget the water. Pass the Tums.
Bye, I'll call when I get there.
Bye, honey.
Bye, Karen.
Well, there she goes off to the big city.
It's just you and me now.
Got the tickets?
If you think a Walt Disney World vacation wouldn't be the same without the kids, you're absolutely right.
My poor parents. I don't know what they'll do now.
Call 1-407-WDisney and make your dream come true.
Good morning. I'm Sister Dorothy, principal of Wyoming Area Catholic School in Exeter. I'm here with some of my students and Bob Trattini of the Four Seasons Garden Center to invite you to our In and About Your Home show on Sunday, April 25th from 12:30 to 5:30. And we would like to say,
Good morning, Pennsylvania!
Brought to you by Denny's. Come into Denny's. Good eats and comfortable seats.
Now, live from the news station, News Watch 16.
Good morning, I'm Tom Williams. It's 8:25, Wednesday the 21st. The Luzerne County woman is relieved to know her daughter is safe and sound following those school murders in Colorado. Evelyn Eck lives in Shavertown. Her daughter teaches at Columbine High School, the same place where 15 students and teachers were killed yesterday. Beverly Williams is a 1964 graduate of Dallas High School. Mrs. Eck was watching TV yesterday afternoon when she heard about the tragedy at her daughter's high school.
When they announced that it started in the science department, I thought, she's in the science department. When they mentioned biology, she's the biology teacher. So I waited all day to hear more.
Ex-son-in-law called in the evening to say Beverly was okay. Beverly herself got to a telephone just before 11 o'clock last night Eck tells us her daughter stayed in a classroom with some students until police said it was safe to leave that Colorado school building. 2 workers were killed yesterday morning in a chemical plant explosion in Schuylkill County. 56-year-old John Letzo of Tamaqua and 45-year-old Tyrone Malafarina of Barnesville died in that blast at Copperhead Chemical. Skycam 16 flew over the plant near Tamaqua and took a look at the damage. The company says the workers were mixing nitroglycerin and another product when the accident happened.
The building where the incident occurred is where active ingredient materials are blended with other bulk-related pharmaceutical products.
About 36 people work at that plant. A crisis team is at the plant in Schuylkill County to help workers deal with the deaths of their 2 co-workers. An accident last night in Susquehanna County killed a man and put a little girl in the hospital. State police say 75-year-old James Karnak of Nicholson was killed when his car flipped over near Hot Bottom. The car landed near a creek. A passenger, 8-year-old Angela Costner of Springfield, was taken to CMC in Scranton with a head injury. A Luzerne County restaurant damaged by flames yesterday will be closed today. An electrical fire sent smoke through the Big Boy restaurant on Kidder Street in Wilkes-Barre. Customers and employees got out of that burning building without being hurt. No word how long the Big Boy in Wilkes-Barre will remain closed. 28 after. Joe's outside with a look at our rainy forecast. Good morning.
Good morning, Tom. We're back to overcast skies, but put on the green today. Hat and all, Earth Day is tomorrow, and I'm celebrating thanks to Wyoming Valley West. You can see a huge thunderstorm complex now in Ohio. WKRP in Cincinnati, rocking to the southeast. That will miss us, but clouds and showers will be back by later on this afternoon and evening. It's all because of a warm front that's trying to bring some warm, juicy air back into Pennsylvania. Come on, Eugene, you can do it. No, not quite. Watch what happens to that front through tonight into tomorrow. It gets oh so close to Pennsylvania, then kind of hangs up. Cool, dry air to the north, warm, juicy air to the south. We're going to be right along that boundary with showers for the next 4 or 5 days. I'm so sorry to say. So for today, peaks of sun, clouds, and scattered showers, especially later on this afternoon and overnight tonight. Upper 50s, mid 60s tomorrow, showers, maybe a thunderstorm, and much of the same for Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday. There'll be some breaks with sunshine, but the threat of showers for almost every day with near 60-degree high temperatures. It's not the best, but you make the most of it.
Bring the nice weather back. Thanks, Joe. Good morning, Jay.
Good morning, Thomas, and good morning, everybody. Syracuse engineered a 9-run 5th inning Tuesday night on the way to a 17-7 shelling of the Red Barons. Casey Blake homered, tripled, and drove in 5. Teammate Ryan Friel also tripled, doubled, and single for the Sky Chiefs. Syracuse back in the lead in the IL North. They play again this morning at 11:30. Finally, Randy Johnson allowed 1 run on 7 hits over 8 full, leading the Arizona Diamondbacks to an 8-1 victory over Philadelphia. Johnson fanned 10 batters with fastballs that were clocked at 99 miles an hour. That's sports, Thomas.
Thanks, Jay. Thank you for joining us this morning. See you again in a half hour. Have a great day.
Oh, look, a miniature roast beef. What a darling little birdie. Here, little birdie, here's something yummy. That's right, you itsy bitsy teeny weeny little... Oh!
Warning! Objects may appear smaller once you've tried our omelets. Denny's enormous 3-egg omelets. Good food and lots of it. Starting at $3.99. My, what big portions we have.
Libby and Quinton are home alone on the next race.
Good morning, America. I'm Diane Sawyer in New York, and hello again to you, Charlie, as we continue our coverage of the Columbine school shootings.
Diane, I am about a half-mile up the road from the school. You can sort of barely see it there through the trees. But as we've been explaining through the morning, they have, the police have moved us this far away from the school because there are still concerns about bombs on the school property. As we mentioned a while ago, there was a bomb that went off unexpectedly. Nobody had found this bomb at 11 o'clock last night. They have found a number of bombs that they have set off. They think there may be more in the school. There may even be more in some cars that are around the school. At least they have to be certain that they've gotten rid of all of them before they really move into the school in force. The bodies of the victims are still inside the school, the dead. There are 15 known to be dead, 12 who were in the library of the school. And if you were with us in the first hour, we were talking to students who talked about how methodically these 2 young men, who have now been identified as Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, how methodically they went around the library and picked out people to shoot and in some cases to kill. 12 dead people in the library, including the two young men who were responsible for this horror at Columbine High School, Harris and Klebold. They are both dead in what was obviously a mutual suicide pact. There's one body just outside the library, a couple of bodies outside the school itself, and there may even be a third body, so the number 15 could turn to 16, but those are the numbers that police are using at the moment, with 23 having been wounded, 10 of them critically, and they are at area hospitals. As we've mentioned, these two young men were part of a group called the Trenchcoat Mafia. They were obsessed with what's called a Gothic lifestyle, very dark clothing that they wore. They wore trench coats all the time, no matter what the weather, and were fascinated with Hitler. They talked apparently about decapitating people. They talked very gruesomely, but as we've talked to students here, no one really took them very seriously, obviously, until yesterday. Now, there was security at the school. There's a rumor running around that the deputy sheriff, who was always on the grounds of the school, was not here yesterday, but we just talked a moment ago to a deputy sheriff who says that the deputy who was normally here was on duty yesterday and exchanged gunfire with these two young men and chased them at one point. There are also 4 security officers at the school, but obviously they were unable to prevent anything like this. Now we have to talk about how the community reacts to something like this. And we've said, you know, you can never predict where this kind of thing might happen, but if you would predict a place where it wouldn't happen, it would seem to be Littleton, Colorado, an upper-income community, a well-to-do suburb of Denver. But this community is now facing all of this. There were last night a number of church services around the city of Littleton, and Steve Avison went to one of them.
At nightfall, the children of Littleton, Colorado found their parents and went to church, looking to sort through the wreckage of a day of horror.
How could somebody do that? I mean, whether or not they had problems or they were angry, they took other kids' lives.
I think we're all so stunned. We just, I don't know, thought somehow that we were isolated from this.
For the questions of the day, there were few answers at the Light of the World Catholic Church on this night, but hugs and comfort were in great supply.
Tonight they did us proud. They came together and they did the only thing you can do. It's just hold another person.
Though many of the victims were still unknown, for some, there was a focus for their prayer.
One of my friends, he was shot in the head, but I heard he's doing okay. He was talking before he went into surgery today, and I'm going to go talk with him tomorrow.
For one victim and a friend, a focus on the future. For some whose children escaped unharmed, a sense of compassion.
We just needed to come and pray for the families and and pray that we're lucky that our son's alive, and for the family of the young man who did this. I'm sure they're really struggling.
Prayers for the family and for the suspected killers. Even the trenchcoat kids, you could pray for them.
I think you can pray for anybody, because they could be lost souls. They could have never been taught right.
It's just the beginning of the healing process here, but parents are starting out by holding their kids close.
You got to know what they're doing. If you don't know what they're doing, find out, because every parent today needs to find out and give their kids hugs. Give all kids hugs.
For Good Morning America in Littleton, Colorado, I'm Steve Avison.
And there will be a lot more church services, obviously. A number of cancellations. All the schools in Littleton closed today. Many of the schools in Denver. And as you may have heard, the Colorado Rockies and the Denver Nuggets both canceled their games last night. It really is just an entire area in shock. And I suppose, in a larger sense, it's an entire nation in shock. Diane?
So true, Charlie, and we'll continue our coverage of it in just a moment. But first, we want to let our local affiliates know that we're going to take a 15-second break here so that all of you can get caught up on the weather in your neighborhood.
Hey, kind of chilly this morning, 30s and 40s, but who cares? Partly sunny skies makes me feel pretty good. There's going to be some scattered showers around later on today, again near 60, and more showers tomorrow. Forgive me, make it a good day.
And we'll have more from Littleton in just a moment.
Hey, where can I freshen up?
Clairol Herbal Essences is changing shampooing from a chore to an all-out joy.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
So is my car ready?
It'll be a little while longer. Herbal Essences, a totally organic experience.
My neighbor works at Post on a cereal we can't get enough of. It's yummy with honey, crunchy with almonds, Post Honey Nut Shredded Wheat. Roger, we're out again. Good thing I've got connections.
The co-op of growers who make Florida's natural premium juice are like a family with a long lineage and an extensive family tree. As you can see, their nursery's always full, but then they do have the best daycare around. Sure, the folks who make Florida's natural see things a little differently. After all, they own the land, they own the trees, they own the company. Taste the difference it makes. Florida's natural, not from concentrate, premium juice.
This was me last summer. Me again 3 months ago. Not one picture of me smiling. I wish my teeth were whiter.
Introducing Crest Baking Soda and Peroxide Whitening. It's a powerful new toothpaste with a tingle that tells you it's working while you brush to help keep your teeth and gums healthy and your smile bright and white.
This was me 4 weeks ago. And here I am today.
New Crest Baking Soda and Peroxide Whitening. The power behind a healthy smile.
How do you get healthy hair like this? Hair with this sheen and body? Feed your dog Pedigree with Champion Skin and Coat System in every can and bag.
Pedigree, developed with vets, recommended by top breeders.
There are some colors you can only find in the country. Deep forest green, rich cranberry red, and these were the inspiration for the Country Colors collection, crafted in America, only by Ethan Allen. A surprisingly affordable way to bring a fresh look to your home, whether it's a farmhouse or a penthouse. Hurry in. Ethan Allen's spring sale is on now.
I am back in Littleton, Colorado with Julie Hayden, who is the veteran police reporter for KMGH, our local affiliate here. And I say that because you know a lot of the policemen, obviously, who have been in that school. What have they told you they've seen?
You know, I was talking to several of the officers who were in there, and all of them came out with the same almost choked up reaction. I talked to several officers who said they have never seen anything as bad as this since Vietnam. I talked to one officer who described going through and seeing some of the victims. They were like they had their hands behind their head. They had been shot execution style. There were others who appeared to have been pinned up against the wall like a prisoner of war is how he described it, and then sort of shot. Others curled up, he said, in a fetal position, trying to hide under desks, under chairs, things like that. And apparently the suspects just were going through the school, through the library, coming upon these kids who were trying to hide and then shooting them point blank, again, execution style.
Yeah, we have this idea of students coming in and spraying bullets around because they have automatic weapons, and yet it was so chilling to talk to those two young people who were in the library talking about how deliberate and callous these two young men were.
That's exactly what the police described the scene as looking like. It appears that at some point they were going through throwing pipe bombs, so there were a lot of shrapnel explosions and a lot of that random shooting. But again, once a lot of the students got out and they were just sort of the suspects and the students in the school, while the police were still trying to get in, the kids were hiding. And as I said, apparently the scene looks like they were just going through, again, methodically, as the police officers described it, executing people.
Now, one other thing I want to talk to you about. They've moved us back because they're worried about bombs on the school grounds. The sheriff said They don't know if they're unexploded bombs. I gather he also mentioned they've got robots in the school.
That's right. One of the things they use are robots with sort of cameras on them, so they can send them in and check out an area without having to endanger any of the officers, and they can sort of look at the camera, check out devices they think might be bombs. The reason they're doing this, and this is just hard to imagine that somebody could have planned something like this, but these kids, they feel, have booby-trapped a car, booby-trapped some of the entrances. They left knapsacks with the booby traps in them that some student might innocently pick up or kick or something like that. So they just don't know what they might be up against. They have what they think are booby traps on the suspects' bodies. And that's one of the big problems they're having in trying to get in there. I talked to one investigator who said, we're treating it as if everything is booby-trapped, and they're hoping the robots can help them figure that out.
All right, Julie, thanks very much. Good to talk to you again. We take a commercial break. When we come back, we hope to talk to the governor of Colorado. Stay with us.
Looking for this? Philadelphia cream cheese. A bagel without it? Heaven forbid.
Did you ever notice the most scenic roads in America have the most unpredictable weather? That's why we made Chevy Blazer. It comes with standard 4-wheel anti-lock disc brakes, so you'll feel safe and secure in all kinds of conditions. And now during Chevrolet's Highway 99, 4-door Blazers come with 1.9% APR financing or $1,500 cash back. 4-door Chevy Blazer, now with 1.9% APR financing or $1,500 cash back. See your Chevrolet dealer today.
Okay, I need a word for yummy.
Ice cream?
Nope, won't fit.
French fries?
Oh, here it is.
What?
Friendlies.
Oh, that was gonna be my next guess.
At Friendly's, we know it's the simple pleasures that make life sweet. Like our happy ending sundae, just 99 cents. When you order any of our famous super melts, stacked high and layered with tasty melting cheese.
Is it good?
Nope.
Huh?
It's yummy.
Presenting the zero-turn mower from Simplicity. With its unique lever control system and zero turning radius, the Simplicity ZT makes cutting grass fast and easy. If only cutting strokes was as simple. The Simplicity ZT.
See George Berger & Sons in Drums or Tri-County Farm and Home Supply in Jerseytown.
News 116 is the #1 source you turn to for local news, weather, and the information you need. Once again, News 116 at 6 was seen by more people than the other stations combined. Thank you for keeping WNEP-TV, the news station, #1.
She made the most painful decision a mother could ever make.
I did the unforgivable.
ABC presents the story of a woman
I'm your mother.
determined to make things right.
Can't you give me a chance to be the mother that you need now?
Diana Ross, Brandy, double platinum, an ABC premiere movie event Sunday, May 16th. Hours after they met, they began a torrid love affair. Julius Caesar, Cleopatra. On Sunday, May 23rd, pleasure becomes power.
We are back in Littleton, Colorado, and I am joined by the governor of the state of Colorado, Governor Bill Owens. And Governor, we've been saying all morning long that this is a situation where you have a town, you have a state, you have a nation asking why and how. And so we put those questions to you as if there were some answers.
Well, unfortunately, there aren't any answers, at least on the morning after. I think that what we need to do is look longer term and perhaps look within ourselves as parents, as citizens, look within what we have our children watching in terms of movies, the violence on television. There's enough blame to go around. Certainly the killers themselves are the primary people to blame, but the rest of us have to look and ask ourselves, what could we have done differently?
Psychologists have been able to profile the kinds of students who have committed these acts in the past in Mississippi and in Kentucky and in Arkansas. And they are disaffected students, they are students with a grudge, they are students who often write about these things in advance, signal perhaps that they're going to happen. Did we miss any signals?
You know, perhaps hindsight's always 20/20, but as we learn what they were writing on the internet and what they were telling their friends, Perhaps there were some signals, and perhaps we did miss those signals. I think that that's one of the things we'll be learning more about in the coming days. Perhaps an even deeper question, though, is what went wrong earlier with these children? What made them into killers, where they go out and without any conscience just kill their friends and classmates and then themselves?
What do public officials do to deal with a state that's in mourning and that feels such grief?
Well, I think what you try and do is express the mourning that the entire state feels. I'm a spokesman for the state this morning. It's not a position that you want to be in terms of having to discuss the tragedy that we've seen here in Littleton. But I think it is a time for Colorado to come together, do what we can to help these families and the victims, and certainly that's what I'm going to be doing today, and that's what Colorado's going to be doing.
There is irony in this state. Right as this happens, the state legislature is debating a bill that would permit citizens of Colorado to carry concealed weapons.
Right.
That's a bill that you support or have supported and said you would sign.
Yeah.
Does this change your mind? Does it change the political landscape? Does it now seem terribly ill-advised?
Well, you know what's tragic is that these killers, and I think I'll call them that because I think that's what they were. They're never going to be proven that in court. But they broke so many laws. We have tight, tough gun control laws here in Jefferson County in the state of Colorado right now. They broke those laws. They broke laws concerning the making of guns. They broke laws concerning that we shall not kill. I'm not sure that they would have obeyed a further law. As governor, if I could sign a law that would stop this, I would do it in a minute. Again, I think it's much further than a new law. I think that it's much deeper than that.
But does it change your position on carrying concealed weapons?
You know, I think that it's going to be something we're going to set aside and discuss at a later time. Again, if somebody had concealed weapons, who would have known whether these children would have been able to do what they did? But I think it's too early to be talking about that right now.
Governor Owens, I appreciate your joining us. Thank you very much. We take a commercial break. Some final thoughts from Littleton in a moment.
Boscov's electronics sale puts you in the picture with a Panasonic camcorder for only $499.99, $100 less than last year. 3-inch color LCD monitor, digital stabilization, plus 3 bonuses, all for $499.99. Panasonic's 4-head hi-fi stereo VCR with VCR Plus is $149.99. Toshiba 900 megahertz 40-channel phone, $39.99.
Did you Boscov today?
Bell Atlantic promised to modernize Pennsylvania's communications network. But a study proves they broke that promise. Instead, Bell Atlantic is using your money to eliminate their only competition by merging with GTE. They promise it won't hurt much. But after broken promises, outdated service, and inflated local phone bills, we hurt too much already. Contact your state legislator. Tell them to give us local phone competition, not a bigger monopoly.
Now from WNEP-TV, here's the Storm Tracker 16 Backyard Forecast.
Hey, good Wednesday morning. Tomorrow is Earth Day, and remember, you are a member of Spaceship Earth. Think about that. That's why I'm all green, got my free t-shirt on from Wyoming Valley West. Sun and clouds today, some scattered showers, upper 50s to near 60. More showers tonight, and again tomorrow. Could even be a thunderstorm with mid-60s tomorrow, staying kind of cloudy for the next 3-4 days with temperatures not far from 60, and yes, showers. Make it a good day.
Good morning. Here's the PSBB for Wednesday, April 21st. The monthly meeting of the local Right to Education Task Force of Luzerne, Wyoming counties will be held at the Luzerne Intermediate Unit in Kingston this evening, 7 p.m. The monthly meeting of the Embroiderers Guild of America of Wyoming Valley will be held this evening at 7 p.m. at First Presbyterian Church of Wilkes-Barre. And New Covenant Church of Sunbury will feature missionaries Steve and Karen Yohe of Belgium this evening at 7 p.m. at the church. That is the PSBB for Wednesday.
We're back, of course, with Charlie in Littleton and Antonio Mora in Inglewood, Colorado at the Swedish Medical Center. But Charlie, you know, our Bob Woodruff went out to a number of schools and tried to examine some of the things being done around the country to prevent incidents like these. One school has 28 security cameras, another clear plastic bags. But everyone he talked to seemed to be saying the same thing. If there's a deliberate intention to cause violence, unless you have an armed camp in a school, it can't be prevented.
Exactly. And do you want magnetometers in the fronts of schools for people to walk in? Do you have to walk into a school the way you walk to an airplane? I don't know. We're going to reinvestigate all those questions. But you just hate to see it. You don't want to see it. You still want to think of schools as a safe haven for students. There was security at this school. There are 4 security officers. There was a deputy sheriff here yesterday. It didn't prevent anything. You know, I can't get out of my head the faces of those 4 students that we talked to this morning, because we've talked about the dead and we've talked about the wounded, but every single student here is wounded, particularly those students who were, even those who escaped, who were so close to all this. They're psychologically wounded. You can see it in their faces. And we talked to Crystal Woodman's mother about Crystal, whether she'd be able to go back to school. She didn't want to at first thought. I mean, it's just something that's going to be seared into their memories for the rest of their lives. And as I say, they're wounded in a different way. But there are the wounded in the hospitals around here. And Antonio Mora, as you mentioned, is at the Swedish Medical Center. Antonio?
Charlie, and we ask why. We ask why always after these incomprehensible, horrible tragedies occur. But I keep thinking about the families in there praying for the recovery of their children. I keep thinking about the families who have lost children. And all those 1,800 kids, I don't know that they really care about why. They have seen one of the most basic, safe places completely destroyed by this act. And I don't know in the end if they really care at this point, because their lives in certain ways have been shattered forever.
All right, Antonio and Charlie, I want to just share with you one more entry by email on abcnews.com, because I think it sums up the thought of a lot of parents. Here's one who says, "Tonight I wonder if the high school memories of my children will include chalk lines on the floor instead of chalk dust on erasers, mass funerals instead of pep rallies, and one more thing. Do they make juvenile-sized bulletproof vests? If they do, I think I'm in the market for 2 of them." We'll be back with Good Morning America in a moment.
If you've been hurt and it's not your fault, call this number now, the Mariotti Law Offices.
I'm attorney Joe Mariotti. If you're seriously injured, you have enough problems to worry about. Your health, your family, dealing with insurance companies, and whether you'll get the money that you deserve. Picking a lawyer from among the hundreds available should not be another one of your problems. Call my office, and I promise I will immediately start fighting to get you the money you're entitled to.
The all-new 1999 Pontiac Grand Am is in your face. Solid excitement. The only thing more impressive than the way it's built is the way it looks. Right now, drive a new Grand Am SC sedan for just $199 a month for 36 months. $199 a month. The 1999 Pontiac Grand Am. See your Northeast Pennsylvania Pontiac Pace Setters today.
Making a difference in a child's life with Big Brothers Big Sisters and WNEP.
At Offset Paperback in the back mountain of Luzerne County, there's a duo running through the offices. Beth is a corporate mentor. Heidi visits her at work for an hour every week. She helps run errands in the building and even has her own in-house email address. Your business can help out, too.
Make a difference in a child's life with WNEP. Call Big Brothers Big Sisters to find out how.
Good morning. Here's the PSBB for Wednesday, April 21st. Fleetville Fire Company will have an all-you-can-eat spaghetti dinner. On Saturday from 4 till 7 p.m., takeouts are available. The Lackawanna Astronomical Society will hold the annual Astronomy Day event in northeastern Pennsylvania, Saturday at Keystone College Observatory in Fleetville, 5:30 p.m. And the American Legion Post 274 of Gouldsboro will have an all-you-can-eat breakfast on Sunday from 9 till 12 noon at the Legion. That's the PSBB for Wednesday.
Good Morning America is brought to you by Ethan Allen.
Tomorrow we'll undoubtedly know a lot more about the 2 young men, their group, their motives, and Peter Jennings, of course, will have more on that tonight. Charlie?
Yes, Diane, I flew out here overnight with Peter, and World News Tonight will be reporting from here in Littleton, Colorado. Our thanks to all these folks from the Columbine High School who came and talked to us in what is a very difficult morning for all of them. See you tomorrow. Take care.
The View TV's ultimate chat room. Funny, smart, unpredictable. Today, how to deal with the people who take care of your children when you can't. The View, ABC Daytime.
People are talking.
Your mother was just telling me how important it is to teach boys about a woman's cycle.
But not about that.
Yippee.
About Dharma and Greg and TV's hottest new sitcom.
What kind of talk?
Office talk.
Talk around the office.
People around the office talking.
You know, the one about LA. More pleasant than jail, but still really hard to escape from. It's like you know after Dharma and Greg. See it tonight on ABC.
Playing music is like playing sports. Mom tells me it takes practice and determination. Dad says it takes coaching, but I just think it's fun.
And no one was injured. In Columbia County, a tragic scene after a vehicle travels the wrong way on a highway. The violent head-on collision